In the corner, falling asleep. I'm just discovering there's some evidence of at least an IA and maybe a PIA going on between my wife and an ex-BF she reunited with on FB. I just wanted to hear some thoughts, perspective or experiences about contacting the spouse's AP to expose the affair. For the OM, I don't believe he is married. Does saying anything directly to this guy really matter? Did any of you betrayed spouses get any satisfaction or questions answered by contacting the AP? I am a military member currently stationed away from my family. We did this on purpose so the kids could keep their infrastructure, activities, schools, etc., especially since I'll be returning to that location in a few years. It's only a 3-hour drive. I return every weekend, trying to keep things as normal as possible with the kids. Ages 15, 13, 9. In doing this family structure, my wife has started to go her own way. So, to answer a lot of the questions asked, I am pretty calm. It's been a trickle discovery that is finally coming to a head now. So, I've really had all summer to lose my mind. It's coming back together now, but I think it's aged me. I was pissed in May, but now since I am finding out more and see there was more to it than I thought, I am just disgusted more with the ongoing revelations and discoveries more than anything. I just want to tell the dude she's all his. If he only knew the real her, he would run, but I don't think he's very sharp. I don't want her back after an AP. I know a lot of people reconcile, and that's good for them, but I just don't want to be her sloppy seconds. Her crawling back to me after he's done. I don't want to be a doormat. This is my second marriage. We are both in our early 40s. My first marriage ended in divorce because of infidelity on my ex-W's part. My W's marriage ended because her ex-husband cheated on her. I married my current wife 12 years ago this summer. We are pretty many opposites, and that was okay for a while. We made it work. I'm more outgoing and social. She's a lot more introverted. We are a military family. 3 kids total. 2 from her previous marriage and 1 we have together. 2 are teens and 1 is a tween. We chose to live apart for this tour so the kids could keep their schedules and activities and school. We both thought the stability would be good for the kids. They live at the family home while I rent an apartment where I am stationed. This was only supposed to be a 2 to 3 year tour. I live in a neighboring state and come home every weekend to keep up the house and see the kids. This tour has turned out to be a mistake in hindsight. My story is similar to others. Coming up on a year ago, my W became very distant. Last April I found out about an issue she was having with an ex she had reconnected with on FB. She went to visit him one weekend without my knowledge, so I am assuming it was a pa. He lives several states away. He's single. She said she slept on the couch. This seems unlikely. I got the "we're just friends" line. Just friends is code word for boyfriend. She said she didn't mean to hurt me and the things he was telling her and the attention he gave her was like meds. I initially believed her. I wanted so badly to believe her. We rug swept the entire thing and spent the rest of the spring and summer and fall. So I think she kept up constant contact with him as it was important to her. They still remain friends. I was a weekend G and didn't check up on her. I played the pick-me dance. I thought I won the competition, but sadly not. The real me who shares a life with W cannot compete with fantasy man. I wanted to trust her and I ended up getting screwed. I was a stupid NG living in fear of losing her and my family if I protested too much. Looking back, I think early 2015 was the beginning of her MLC. I couldn't believe this was happening to us. We never recovered from the first IA beginning last year. For anyone reading this, if you haven't dealt with your spouse's infidelity, IA or PA, you really need to. It doesn't go away. It erodes everything. Where there is no trust, there is no love. Learn from me, deal with it. Around New Year's of this year, I found out she went to visit the FB guy again at the end of September. In late September she told me she needed to get away for a weekend. Turns out she lied about where she was and who she saw. She said she didn't do anything wrong. She told me she didn't plan on heading down there to see him but started to drive and ended up there. Comical. She contends to this day they didn't do anything wrong. Her IA and probable PIA started with FB, progressed to a secret cell phone she had. This progressed to the secret visits. I remind you, they were just friends. She accused me the entire summer of being controlling. She accused me of not understanding her or being able to make her happy. We struggled to get through the holidays. She spent most of her time isolated. In short, I did and said the wrong things the entire 2015. I think we had slept together a total of 3 times in 2015. Horrible. She built an emotional wall around herself and kept me at a distance the entire year. I was a chump. She has no remorse about her affair. As a result of the strained interactions during the holidays, we had a big talk on New Year's Day 2016. She told me things have to change, meaning I had to change. During that conversation she suggested we figure out a way to get distance from each other to determine the next move. A few days later she emailed me requesting a separation plan. Since New Year's Day, we've been separated in the home. She asked for the separation and then about a month later emailed me and asked for a divorce. I initially agreed to the divorce but asked her one more time if she would consider MC&R. She said, "I don't know." That was around the first week of Feb. I've consulted with a divorce attorney to figure out what I can do and how things will probably be. I now spend my time at the house in the spare bedroom. We don't do anything as a family anymore. Some good news is my relationship with the kids is very good. The best it has been in years. Now I don't have any relationship with my W. I don't initiate any conversations. I don't text her anymore. I don't ask her for R anymore. I only email her my upcoming plans with the kids or if there is business stuff with the house. I'm still paying for most everything. She has her own car payment and she buys the groceries. She handles kid expenses as they come up and I help with that too. We've had separate credit and checking accounts since we dated. We have no joint assets or liabilities except for the house. I've instituted the 180 for me, not her. I understand how it is supposed to work. Initially, like a lot of people, I did it to try and win her back. It didn't work. I think she has enjoyed running her own show and not being accountable. She seems to have enjoyed my lack of attention. Now, the 180 is for me. This 180 has really given me the opportunity to trust myself again. I've always been self-reliant, but this 180 has given me the opportunity to be the real me. I've gone dark on her. I don't want to hear about her problems anymore. I've learned about the victim triangle and staying at 50,000 feet from this board. All good stuff. I focus on myself and the kids. I was already fit, so I keep fit. I'm doing more strength training now to better define my body. I'm doing the stuff I want to do and hobbies that I let go in order to put everyone else's needs first. I have a circle of good friends where I live during the week. I don't try and hide my situation. I have found that people appreciate honesty. Being a slick NG is no way to go through life anymore and people don't buy it. I feel real now. I don't like telling people my business, but I now allow people to help me and listen to me. It is easy for me to blame her behavior towards me and her EAP for the downfall of the marriage. It was her choice to cheat and she owns that, but I know my actions contributed to the marital problems as well. I own my stuff. Blame is tiring. Blame is toxic. During this, I also discovered I was ANG. I discovered I had codependent behavior. My W suffers from clinical depression. She is the adult child of alcoholics. I understand this has made her life difficult. I understand there is emotional damage done. I can't fix that. I can't rescue her. She doesn't ask for my help. It's been a hard lesson for me not to jump in. I can't drive home enough to anyone reading this that rescuing and fixing is all about control, making yourself indispensable so someone doesn't leave you. I've detached. I stay out of her fray. I've read the standard books talked about here. I've learned a lot. I feel differently about me now. I'm going to handle whatever happens. I'm going to be okay. My focus is on my road ahead. As of now, we are separated. We are roommates and co-parents. Although I'm not really sure what a co-parent is and I'm still learning how to do this. We are not legally separated as there is no paperwork filed. I am not okay with this whole extended separation thing. It sucks. I had a moment of clarity while I was journaling this weekend. I don't want to live in limbo anymore. I don't want to wait for her to decide if she's staying or going. I think she told me what she wanted when she emailed me the divorce request and I'm the one who has been stalling. I haven't wanted to tell the kids. I didn't want this for them and I don't want them to hurt. Maybe my W doesn't know or care how it will affect life, but they will. If it wasn't for them, I would have been gone the first evidence of infidelity. I think she has a fantasy where we separated in the home indefinitely. She wants the benefits of marriage to me but doesn't want me. Honestly, I'm not sure if I've given this separation enough time, but I know that this isn't working for me. That's all I know. I see, but I don't think this counselor is right for me. She just nods her head and says that I'm doing the right stuff. I live in fear of the loss of the known. I can handle the unknowns. I've ridden the emotional roller coaster many times. I've had sparks of hope. I've had dashed hopes. I've been on the hunt for sparkly unicorns and rainbows. I'm tired. I don't hate her. I just want better for myself. I don't want to be with someone who doesn't love, value, or respect me. I want better. I feel like I'm letting her go. It has been a process doing that. I don't really care what she does anymore. The next guy can have her. I've been dealing with this for almost a year. My desire to move on from this now exceeds my desire to hang on. So, I think the next step is the conversation. I'll figure out what I am going to say to the kids. I'll retain the lawyer. The easy way would be to stay in this situation and hope for the best. I don't think hope is a plan anymore. A year later, 2 years almost to the day when I caught her stepping out on me. In my case, the divorce was uglier than I would have liked, but compared to some other people's experience, not so bad. I retained joint legal and physical custody of my kid, and that was the main thing I was hoping for. Everything else was stuff and money, things you can't take with you when you go. There is a tomorrow, folks. When we're mired down into the weeds of deciding to reconcile or divorce, it's very hard to move forward. If you decide to divorce, it's one day at a time. I'm not sure about the reconciliation side of the house. At first, I wanted to go that direction. I then realized the person I was married to was incapable of being in a marriage with me and helping me meet my needs. I decided not to waste another day of my life pursuing it. My comment: a simple, straight-up story. When an OP is decisive, they take a very short approach to their relationship. Story 2. My 12-year relationship. 4-year marriage ended when my wife divorced me. We've had our hearing and it's all over now and becomes official in just a few months. I'm proud of the work I've done for myself and continue to do. I'm discouraged by my dating prospects, however, and feel stuck. I'm a Christian. I belong to 2 dating sites. One I don't take seriously because the women there appear to be delusional with unrealistic expectation, not to mention their entitlement mentality and overinflated sense of value. Don't all chubby divorced moms deserve a millionaire with 6-pack abs, a BMW and a passport? The other site is a Christian site. I've met a very nice woman, Smiles, who seems interested in me. Smiles is attractive, has a good career, and claims to be active in her church. What's the problem? Me. Smiles is a widow with 2 young kids and she lives in the city me and Scrooge used to live in. I'm getting uneasy feelings about this. I tried being a stepfather before with Scrooge and it didn't work out. I don't want to lose out on Smiles, and I know her circumstances are different, but I'm worried about investing time with a woman with children and she turns out to be unsupportive and has no clue about building a blended family like Scrooge. My brain knows she's not Scrooge, but my Spider-Man senses are sounding off. What does this mean? Too soon, too similar. Keep working on me and my goals. Should I wait? We email all the time. I know Smiles is waiting for me to ask her out. I'm conflicted and a little afraid. I feel like I'm 15 again. I'm also attracted to a lady at my gym and one of my classmates in grad school. It's been from one extreme to another too quick. I'm overwhelmed. Any thoughts? My gut is saying slow down. Is this normal? I've decided to do nothing and just let things happen naturally. And I'm not limiting myself to just one person or being in a relationship for the sake of not being single. I'm not going to game or lie, but I'm going to do something called dating. I forgot about dating. Sounds like fun. I'll ask Smiles out for a date the next time I talk to her. She's a sedan, comfortable, practical, dependable. I'm not going out of my way for the SP clone. She's a nice sports car. Nice to have. I'd love to take it for a spin, but don't really need it. Bookworm is out. I realized I'm not really interested in her. Very tired. Class went long last night and didn't get home until late. I've gone from an open calendar to having too much on my plate. Gym tonight. This was the first night of a different class and I met another incredible woman. After 12 years with Scrooge, I've forgotten that there are other women on the planet. Edie is very intelligent, well-spoken, and extremely attractive. During class I noticed her looking at me a couple of times. When I turned my head to look at her, she quickly looked away. She smiled at me a couple of times too. But during break in the corridor as we passed each other I said a confident hello and she looked down at the carpeting and squeaked a barely audible hi. Not sure how I read her yet, but she's high-ranking to me. I asked out Smiles and she said yes. We're both very busy until next weekend. She also offered me her cell number to text her. I need suggestions because I don't want to text her yet. We haven't even met. I don't want to run out of things to talk about before meeting. Any way to decline without looking like I'm not trying to hide, avoid, or next her. About our date, I can't believe I'm asking, but it's been so long and I have concerns. Should I take the lead and say we're doing XYZ, or should I ask her what she wants to do? Should I pick her up or meet her? She's a widow, so I'm sure she has concerns and I respect that. But how should I find out without appearing like a blue pill nice guy? Is worrying about this beta. SP clone is out. After thinking about it and reading suggestion, if I was going to get a sports car I might as well get the latest model, and BD is that and more. BD has Smiles beat with her sleek, streamlined trim package, but so far, I think Smiles is the smartest choice for my needs. But then again, BD is very intellectually stimulating. I'm hoping Smiles is as engaging as BD appears to be. Life is so good. A lesson and a funny story that happened yesterday at my gym. I got there mid-afternoon and the place was empty. I did my weight training and then an hour on the bike. By the time I was done, 2 older women came in and took the bikes to my left. When I was done, I got off my bike and got some wet paper towels to wipe down the machine. Mind you, I was totally focused on my workout and I had my headphones on. So, I took off headphones and started cleaning my bike when I heard one female saying to the other how she knew he was a nice guy. I thought they were talking about some man they knew. I was done and started walking away when I heard one of them call out, "Excuse me." The one closest to me thanked me for cleaning up the gym equipment after using it. Then they both started grilling me on my exercise routine, complimenting me on my manners, asking about where I work, and telling me how wonderful I am. One told me she was a doctor and asked me what I did for work. They were hitting on me, and they were not shy about it. They were aggressive and direct. Sounds good, right? I'm in my mid-40s, and they were easily late 50s, early 60s. I chatted with them for a few minutes to be polite, but then I told them I had to go. One still kept trying as I turned around and walked away. I learned what it must be like to be a woman who is always dealing with men flirting with her. The boldness off them was startling. I wasn't feeling very attractive. I was dressed in my workout clothes, and I was all gross and sweaty. They didn't care. They seemed desperate and it was a turn-off. I'm glad I didn't approach SP clone. If I ever decide to try, I know now that timing and approach is way more important than the opening. Had a nice long talk with Smiles tonight. We're meeting up tomorrow for our first date. She asked a little about Scrooge. I said it's complicated, but she pressed me so I gave her a 2-minute snapshot. It didn't even faze her. So, we talked more than I took the lead and said, this is what I want to do tomorrow. Are you coming? She said yes. Then she wanted to talk a little more, but I politely ended the conversation. Me, it's late, I worked hard and I had night school. I'm tired. Smiles, no problem. Smiles are awesome. Had a great time talking with her. She's so easygoing and intelligent. As we talked about our lives, she mentioned her late husband a few times and I couldn't help mentioning Scrooge. Although I didn't refer to her by name, I referred to her as my ex-wife. I know what you all advised. I didn't talk about her. At least I hope not. Anyway, I'm tired of overthinking and worrying about conversations. Tonight, I felt relaxed and at ease. I had fun. It was great. She's very stylish, dressed well, better looking in person, and she's got a great figure. But more important, she's decent, smart, and seems to have strong convictions. For a first meetup, I think it went well. I asked her if she would like to go out on a real date and she said yes. So, we'll most likely go out again next Friday. At least I hope so. We're both busy and she's got 2 young boys. No goodbye hug or kiss. I didn't want her try. It didn't feel right. Many times, I wanted to hold her hand or put my arm around her, but I didn't. I don't know. I wanted to, but it didn't feel right. In my younger days, it was about scoring. I don't want just that anymore. I've never been here before. I never thought I'd be starting over at this point in my life. I'm a little rusty. It's been a long time since I dated. I'm kind of numb, honestly. No expectations. No rush. One day at a time. Just had breakfast with my safe friend and mentor. I told him about my date with Smiles and he said he was happy for me. He asked me how I'm doing with Scrooge and do I still think about her. I said of course I do. I still love her and think about her every day, but I know it's over. He asked me what's my problem then. If Smiles wasn't interested, she wouldn't be there. I told him it's me and what I've been ingrained with. Smiles earns triple what I do. She doesn't need me and I have nothing to offer her. Safe friend told me I have to stop letting the world have a field day with me. What I make and what I have means nothing to a good woman. He said if she's a real Christian, she's going to want more than money from her man. He's right, but I'm having a hard time accepting that. Especially considering how Scrooge used me. She got to the point where she earned enough to be self-sufficient, and therefore no longer wanted me. She really destroyed my sense of value and worth. I'm more than a paycheck and I have to remember that. I have to remember who I was before Scrooge. I've never been rich by earthly standards, but I've always been satisfied. I have values and beliefs and I can't suspend them out of fear of being alone. I should be happy this morning, but I'm not. I'm feeling sad and confused. Maybe I'm just tired. I wish life had an instructions manual. I have to accept without resentment that Smiles makes more money than me. If she rejects me for that reason, then it's on her, not me. Buying or using love for safety and provisioning is Scrooge-like. Yet wouldn't it be nice guy, beta, codependent to be weaker financially to a woman? It shouldn't be if she's a genuine Christian and is not overly concerned with such things. I'm going to have to patiently find out. I wouldn't be dependent on Smiles. I want to be wanted. How do I communicate this without looking wimpy? My whole life I've been taught that men are supposed to signal that they can provide and take care of women. Now I'm finding that women don't need to be taken care of. I've learned there's a fine line between Christianity and codependency. After yesterday's posts I was feeling really low. Then I got final divorce notice in the mail. But then I got a text from Smiles and we ended up flirting all night. It's so wonderful talking to a woman who is knowledgeable and educated. This morning in church I got another message about Scrooge through other people and the sermon. I hope everything works out for you, Scrooge. I hope all is well and that you have a good life. You're not evil, but what you did was wrong. I didn't deserve my wounds. I forgive you for my sake. Best of luck to you. The closest she ever came to asking for forgiveness was a childish sorry with no emotion or remorse. She's not stupid, even though she always claimed that she wasn't as smart as me. I see now how she used it as an excuse for her bad conduct during our relationship. We even took a forgiveness class together through the church during our S and false R. I see now she was just going through the motion. Another reason to forgive her, not for who she is, but what she does. Snakes eat frogs. That's what they do. You can't hate them for being a snake, but you can dislike them because of their diet. I have to hold Scrooge responsible for her actions and not blame Smiles or anybody else. Forgiveness gives me back my present and future. It doesn't invite reunion. It doesn't pardon past wrongs. It just lets them go so the wounds can scab over heal. So, tomorrow night Smiles and I are going out to eat. Last week we met for coffee and we talked for 3 hours. I asked her for a real date and she said yes. Between then and now we have both texted each other equally. By that I mean each of us have initiated and ended conversations. We've also talked on the phone last night. We're both very busy. She's a widowed mom with 2 young kids. She works a condensed night shift, and she's very dedicated to her church and ministry group. I work full-time days and have grad school 2 nights per week. I'm committed to my diet and exercise routine and gym, and I attend Bible study and morning worship on Sundays. I'm working on keeping my patience in check. It's a date, not a wedding, and I'm reminding myself to be mindful of our circumstances. We both lost the ones we loved, her by untimely death, me by rejection and divorce. I'm guarding against her not really being ready to move on, and I will try to communicate my genuine interest in her. She's not a roll in the hay or a rebound. She's worth waiting for. At the same time, I think after a few more dates she will signal if she's really into me. Time will tell. I'm feeling excited and nervous. It's good. I am concerned that if we do hit it off that our schedules will become an obstacle. But then again, it might be the perfect regulatory factor two healing people need at this moment in their lives. It's not even 9 a.m. yet and I'm so ready for my date tonight with smiles. Got to keep busy and avoid mindlessness. Got to keep mindful and enjoy the now. Emotional progress report. As usual, as I first woke up, I thought of Scrooge. The mental movie ran with our unhelpful dialogues, but this time it was shorter. Then I had thoughts of bumping into Scrooge somewhere and she's with the guy she left me for. Of course, I punched his face off his skull, but then I became aware of what I was doing. Thinking about things that won't happen. Rapid breathing. Increased blood pressure. Stress. Unproductive thoughts. Wasting time. Mindless. Now I'm mindful. Going to eat a delicious breakfast slowly and enjoy the taste and flavor. Then go wash my truck and appreciate its pleasing appearance, contours, and design. Tonight, no worrying. Just want to sit down, relax, and enjoy a great tasting meal with someone who can carry on a conversation. Must be mindful of what she is saying. Forget mental movies, forget what I want to say, just listen to her and reply honestly. I had a blast tonight. Hopefully we will see each other again. I thought it went well, but she did seem aggressive at first, asking me about my history before that person. After I answered a few questions, I signaled enough by eating and talking about the food. When I caught myself stumbling for convo, I reminded myself to relax. Things really picked up when we started talking about careers. She was leaning forward, smiling, gestures, etc. We took an after-dinner stroll and talked. We struck gold when went browsing in a department store. For an hour we sat in recliner chairs in the middle of the store talking and singing songs from the 80s. I walked her to her car. Very awkward ending and sudden goodbye. No effort made by either for hug or kiss. She said, "You have my number." She texted me before I even got home, continuing where we left off in the store. I had fun. She's so smart and kind, and pretty too. I know I should play the field, and I will if I met anyone else, but for right now, and at the point in my life and at my age, I'm just thankful for her, even if it turns out we just become friends. But I wouldn't mind this friendship catching on fire. Met up with Smiles for a movie. She paid for the tickets, I bought the snacks. After the film we talked in the car for a while. Felt like a teenager. I held her hand a couple of times briefly, but I noticed she didn't seem to want to hold mine back. At the end it was awkward. She knew I wanted a kiss and as leaned in for one she said, "Okay, I'll give you a hug." I feel like I'm getting mixed signals. On the one hand she's interested, but on the other she's apprehensive. We talked about our values, beliefs, and expectations concerning love, marriage, and relationships. She shared that she's had one relationship since her husband's passing. She said he was a nice guy, but she broke it off because he was too clingy. She said men need to lead and be stronger in relationships. I joked, "Wow, he sounds beta," and she knew about red and blue pill. She said because she's a nurse she's usually attracted to alphas but always ends up with a beta. Is this really happening or am I dreaming? Even adult like me can understand what she's saying. Time will tell if what she does matches her words. I need to slow down. Sounds like she's saying she's interested but she wants me to go slow. In other words, she likes how we're both working on our own stuff. Few weeks later, she started ignoring me and started showing other red flags. After our major blow-up, I apologized for my stuff and we went to MC. While we were during MC, she said she doesn't want me fixing her problem, so I didn't anymore. She gave me poop tests and I said I'm not coming back to live like before. We seemed to be working on our stuff and then bam, she says it's over. I think by that point she was able to execute plan about whatever. It was her 3M&D, my first. I had a bad yesterday. I'm sure I'll have more. I know I made mistakes with Scrooge and I've owned them and I'm working on me. I'll never let myself get like that again. And no, I don't think Smiles is an option anymore. If you read back, she seemingly moved on overnight. I'm guessing she's not interested. Last time she initiated contact was last Thursday. I called her and she said she was busy, so I said, "Okay, call me if you want to go out." When the phone doesn't ring, I know it's her not calling. I'm really starting to wonder if I'm meant to be alone. Maybe not forever, but for right now. My 2 became 3 when Scrooge asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I told her and she said no, it was too expensive, which wasn't true. She had no problem buying expensive gifts for herself and her children, but never for me. So, I stopped spending on her and her kids. When she asked, I told her I'm not buying love. Maybe that was wrong, but it's how I felt. I get what you're saying about gifts with strings, but isn't there something to feeling that you were taken advantage of and used? Scrooge and I both did things wrong. It's over. I'm forgiven for my mistakes by my God. Scrooge did me a favor by dumping me. The brain knows, but the heart is still lingering in the past. I guess getting dropped so quickly by Smiles set me off. I wish she gave us more of a chance. Like I posted yesterday, I have to remember that the world does not define me. Had a late class last night. Work today. Very tired, so I skipped the gym. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. I celebrated my hard work and weight loss with some Chinese food for dinner. Married weight, 235. Divorced weight, 205. Sent out some flirts on dating site. Counting days on calendar when divorce is legal and final. It's so beautiful outside. Very silent in here. I can hear my watch ticking. My legs and arms are so sore from exercising. Wondering why I need my mobile phone data plan now. Can't wait for church on Sunday. So, I'm coming to terms slowly with my issue, I think. I am who I am. I cannot meet the world's expectations. Even if I try to, that gives the world the chance to reject and devalue me. I have to like myself how I am and for what I am. I need to let the Father solve that which I cannot control. Went to the gym last night. SP clone got on the treadmill in front of me. The view was very distracting. Oh man, I couldn't help but notice. I also saw her wedding ring. Some guy out there should be very grateful. Dating site girl Nick, cute 65. She's got a full plate too. We've been emailing. I don't know how it could work. We'll see. She lives 65 miles away. On the other hand, I stayed faithful to Scrooge for a year while I was on the other side of the planet and had women throwing themselves at me. So, it's been a year now since I moved out and the beginning of the end of our marriage. A year ago, I was hurt, angry, stressed, and confused, trucking my belongings out of our place and couch surfing at relatives. A year later, I'm stressed over my presentation I'm giving tonight in grad school. A year ago, I had only one hope, working it out with Scrooge. A year later, I have several goals, the least of which is my coffee date tomorrow night. I'm not down or up today. I'm busy trying to make myself a better today. I will never forget how I was a year ago, and I will never allow myself to be like that again. Life is too wonderful for tears and pain. I want my next tears to be ones of joy and happiness. 1 year already. The divorce final next month. Every day I'm a little better. Had an outdoor adventure date with Ms. D today. She's very athletic. I am being careful. I'm not allowing myself to fall into my old relationship patterns from my past. At least I don't believe I am. I'm not rescuing or being rescued. We're just enjoying each other's companionship and joking about our self-imposed limitations and restrictions. We joke that we're on probation. My happiness doesn't rely on Ms. D. If she disappeared tonight, I'd be disappointed in a healthy way, but I wouldn't be devastated. There are many women my age seeking decent, honest men. I like so much of what I see in Ms. D. I'm not going to eliminate her just because of the timing concerning when we met. And I'm not putting her on a pedestal or making her the center of my universe. One date at a time. Advice sought. Obviously I'm relearning dating again. We've gone out about 4 times now. I've paid for everything so far, although she has bought coffee a couple of times. Not to sound like a cheapskate, but I can't afford dinner dates every time we go out. I told her that today in passing. I said something like, "We can't go to XYZ's to eat all the time." I'm not sure if she got it. At the end of today's date, she asked what we're doing this coming Saturday. My plan right now is to not make specific plans unless she suggests something, where I can then say something like, "Oh, are you treating me?" I'm not being a cheap jerk, but I want her to understand that I'm not Mr. Rich Guy. I think by now she should have offered to pitch in or leave the tip. I finished my grad school spring courses. I got 2 A's. I have the summer off and will resume studies in the fall. I've been enjoying my new motorcycle, but Mother Nature is making sure I have just enough rain to keep me driving the truck a few times per week. I got down to 199 pounds, but it only lasted 4 days. I went 9 days without a cigarette, but I slipped earlier this week and I've been averaging about 5 per day. My new approach is trying to quit every day. My coworkers are bad influences and enablers. I quit the gym because I wasn't getting there often enough to justify the membership fees. I have access to free gyms at my work and college that I need to explore. Church is going fine. I was asked to become a trustee but declined. I'm thinking I'd like to work on me more before assuming any position, no matter what the authority. And I'm falling for Ms. D, and I'm sure she's feeling the same way. We talk every day and we keep finding excuses to see each other more and more. We're both counting down the days until the divorce is final and legal. 9 days. Ms. D grabbed and held my hand the other day as we were walking in public. I reminded her of our agreement and she said she doesn't care anymore. I said okay, but I still won't hug or kiss her until divorce is final. When divorce is final, Ms. D and I are looking forward to worshiping together at each other's churches. We have some fun summer dates and outings already planned. And she looks so darn cute on my bike. I'm feeling very fortunate and blessed, very grateful and thankful for what I have. I keep reminding myself and her to go slow and keep the Lord as the center of our relationship. I still have my Scrooge memories. They hurt less and remind me how fortunate I am now. I still have my failings. When I get clingy for Ms. D, I make myself busy instead of contacting her. Without fail, she ends up contacting me, which I take as a good sign. So, this is where I'm at now. Cautiously opportunistic and enjoying the now. Ms. D told me she's not interested in dating other guys and says she's going to start calling me her boyfriend to her family, friends, and coworkers when the divorce is final. I'm more than okay with that. I know some say going right into another relationship so soon is wrong, but it doesn't feel that way. We're going slow and it's working for us. I'm her first real steady since her divorce 5 years ago. She was married for 19 years and he cheated on her, so she dumped him. So, her and I are both guarding against rebound. We have much in common. I'm hopeful and excited. My comment: wanted to provide 2 positive stories for this afternoon. Hope you guys are enjoying these lessons. I have uploaded a lot recently. Check them out down below.